Workplace bullying is a trip to the dark side in more ways than one. It's just not yet clear whose dark side we're talking about here exactly. Some people in the narcissistic abuse recovery community argue that the narcissist is actually showing you your shadow self. What is your shadow self? As I understand it, your shadow self or your dark side is those parts of yourself that you have repressed, usually those that we judge as negative because of societal and/or familial programming, anger, jealousy, etc. Does that mean that every time a narcissist or a bully shows up in your life, that person is actually serving as a mirror reflecting back to you your own subconscious mind? Those parts of yourself that you have repressed that you don't want to confront, face, or deal with. Does that mean that if workplace bullies are defined by pathological jealousy and unnecessary competition, that you are the one who is actually jealous and competitive? Is the presence of a toxic person in your life an indication of some emotion that you have repressed for which you need to find a healthy expression? For example, if workplace bullies are unhealthily competitive, does that mean that you need to find more positive ways in your life to be competitive? Whether or not that is true, workplace bullying or abuse of any kind can serve as a catalyst for us to do the only work that matters in this lifetime or any other, and that is the work we do on ourselves. I think what workplace bullying really is an exercise in projection. Workplace bullies are master projectors. Rather than showing you your dark side or your shadow self, what they are really doing is projecting theirs onto you. That is why when they engage in one workplace bullying technique, unfair criticism, they slap you in the face with baseless, preposterous, outlandish false accusations that they have completely fabricated that are so crazy-making they will make your head explode. It's like, what? Workplace bullies are basically projecting everything they don't like about themselves onto you. It is not your dark side or your shadow self. It is their cruelty, mean-spiritedness, and rudeness, their dishonesty, and complete and total lack of integrity, ethics, morals, or values, their insecurity and immaturity, their hypocrisy and judgment, their superficiality, shallowness, emptiness, and stupidity, their lack of self-esteem, self-respect, self-worth, and self-love, their pathological jealousy and rage, their guilt and shame, and above all, their all-consuming self-hatred. And the best time to slander, smear, and defame you with their stuff is with a retroactive character assassination, when you are no longer around to defend yourself because you've already been eliminated from the workplace. Why are workplace bullies so intent on projecting onto you? I don't like to do black and white thinking, but unfortunately in this life, because pain is inevitable, we really have only two choices. We can project or we can heal. I'll let you guess which one workplace bullies have chosen. Workplace bullies project everything that they cannot heal, which is everything. Narcissists do not have the ability to heal their dark sides or their shadow selves, but we can. Narcissists express this snide, sneering, contempt, derision, scorn, and disdain for emotional vulnerability, but it takes real strength to be open. People who have the ability to be vulnerable, to be open and honest about their feelings, are usually the strongest ones in the place. The intent of workplace bullying is to hurt the target, and it does. Workplace bullying hurts. It leaves scars that last a lifetime. And I think the only way forward is to admit that we have been hurt. After all, they say that's the first step. No matter how much workplace bullies project onto us, I think it's important to admit that we do have a dark side. We all have one. And if we do not accept and embrace it, then we too risk projecting it onto other people, which is exactly what workplace bullies do all day, every day. After all, as we all know, whatever we repress risks coming out in negative ways that could hurt ourselves or other people. So do you have the strength to go within, turn inward, do the deep dive, clean house, and take out the trash? To admit that you feel insecure, betrayed, humiliated, and scared? That you feel frustrated, irritated, and can get rude and controlling? That you experience anger, bitterness, resentment, hatred, and that you want revenge, that other people have hurt you, and that you have hurt other people. Above all, that you suffer from low self-esteem. Take a moment and ask yourself, do you really love yourself unconditionally? This is not about victim blaming and shaming, but about something called radical personal accountability. Doing our shadow work and integrating our dark side is part of accepting our humanity. We are human. If we do not accept our own humanity, we can never have compassion for others. There is a line, however, that we draw. There are things that we do not accept in ourselves or in others. Personally, I draw the line at cruelty, which is intentionally hurting other people and enjoying it. I also do not accept jealousy. It's about values. So here we go again with the value conflict in a workplace bullying environment in which cruelty and mean-spiritedness are not only considered normal, but also actively encouraged and celebrated. I believe that all conflict in human relationships arises out of a misalignment of values. The target of workplace bullying most likely has a different value set, a different belief system that workplace bullies in their intolerance do not accept. It is human to experience anger. It is human to unintentionally hurt ourselves and others. We all do it. It is not okay to intentionally hurt others, which is cruelty, which is what workplace bullies do all the time. So you tell me, where do you draw the line? What do you find unacceptable in yourself or in others? All that being said, the ultimate truth is that the workplace is no place for doing shadow work. The workplace is hi, bye, have a nice weekend, did you have a nice weekend? A workplace with appropriately healthy boundaries in place is not the arena for doing emotional work of any kind. Family relationships, friendships, and romantic relationships are where we do the real emotional work in our lives. Workplace bullies are the ones who drag all of their emotional nonsense into the workplace and then proceed to projectile vomit it out over all and sundry because the nearest warm body will do as a target. If you are a target of workplace bullying, I think it's safe to say that you are a codependent empath who is being eaten alive by psychopaths, sociopaths, and narcissists. Gangs all here, y'all. And if you are a target of workplace bullying, I think it's also safe to say that you have not exactly had healthy boundaries either. You've been projecting too. And what you've been projecting is your dysfunctional childhood family of origin. If you are a target of workplace bullying, then you are the proverbial battered woman staying in a toxic relationship well past its due date. People always ask, why does she stay? Why doesn't she just leave? We can argue that we stay in toxic workplaces simply because we need the money, but I think there's something deeper going on here. If you're like me, your toxic dysfunctional workplace bullying environment may very well reflect your toxic dysfunctional childhood family of origin and your desire to get it right this time. In our codependency, we are silently begging our coworkers not to treat us the way that we were treated when we were children. When no one understood us, no one listened to us. People were pathologically jealous of us and mean to us. They gossiped and talked about us behind our backs, criticized and judged us, and falsely accused us of things we didn't do and even their own mistakes, and treated us like objects who were not allowed to speak. Sound familiar? The problem is it doesn't work. No amount of bargaining in the world can undo an unhappy childhood or a toxic workplace. So the acceptance work that we do as part of our shadow work as targets of workplace bullying is not only our acceptance of our own humanity, but also our radical acceptance that our workplaces, just like our families of origin, will never be what we want them to be. Ever. I have to accept that my childhood family of origin can never love me the way that I want to be loved. Ever. And I have to accept that I cannot physically walk into a workplace and not be bullied. Ever. And it's painful. It's excruciating. It hurts. It is a tremendous amount of grief and loss, and my heart goes out to you if you ever have to experience it. If you are a target of workplace bullying, it is possible that you may never find a workplace full of the kind of caring, compassionate, empathetic, and supportive people without cruelty, mean-spiritedness, or jealousy that you so crave and desire. But it doesn't mean that you have to go your entire life like that. If you are a target of workplace bullying, no matter how bad your childhood family of origin or your workplaces were, I believe that you can still find a group of like-minded people. That's the concept of chosen family. So find your family, just not in the workplace. So that's an introduction to how to deal with workplace bullying. Do not look for your family in the workplace. If you'd like to read more, I've written an essay on workplace bullying. It's on my website. I include that information in the description. The reason that I create this video series is to establish a forum where targets of workplace bullying can share their stories and experiences in a kind of support group so you can know, number one, you're not crazy. Workplace bullying is real and your feelings are perfectly valid and justified. And number two, you're not alone. Unfortunately, countless others have experienced the same thing. So I look forward to reading your comments and I'll try to respond. Take care.